Hey y'all, it's Natalie for A Cherry on Top, and today is our monthly design team YouTube hop, and I'm using this paper 13 from Paige Evans to create a spring layout. That's our theme for today, is spring. I got this cute little bunny cut file for free. I just Googled hip hop bunny. Now, you get what you pay for. For some reason, it didn't cut like one of the ears. I don't know, like it cut it, but one of the lines went too thin. But I'm going to doctor it up and it'll stick down to my page and you'll never know. But it's really cute, isn't it? His little glasses say hip hop, and he has little whiskers and a nose. And I'm going to use that paper 13 from the new Bloomin' Wild collection by Paige Evans. And I'm going to fussy cut it. I'm going to use that Catherine Pooler butterfly stamp from a few seasons back. And you can see I magically cut all of the labels out that I wanted to use. And that's kind of the idea of what I'm going with. Is I'm going to sprinkle them around the page. And I'm going to use two of the little floral stamps, the small ones, from that butterfly stamp set. And I'm going to kind of have the flowers peeking out from under the labels in their corresponding colors. So you can see over there on the left, I've pulled out a ton of my Distress Oxide inks. And now I'm just kind of arranging the labels as I will like them to be on my page so that I can start my stamping. So we're going to start with that lavender one down there, and I'm just doing two different stamps, and I'll do first and second generation stamping just so that it peeks out from around the label. So our theme for today is just spring, the spring season. So I can't wait to see what everyone has made. Well, I've already kind of got a sneak peek in there. Amazing. So make sure to hop around to everyone's videos. If you comment on everyone's videos in the hop, then you will be entered for a chance to win $15 store credit to acherryontop.com, which is a super great prize. And there's not that many people in the hop, and it's really a lot of awesome inspo. So now we're going in for this pink label here. So some of the labels are plain and some of the labels have little icons on them. So you saw me moving them around at the beginning. Partially that was because I had the two rainbow ones too near one another, but all of the rest of them happen to have different icons on them. So I am going to rough up the edges of the labels as well. That gives it a nice little texture and dimension when I add to the page. I'm not going to use foam tape today, but that alone of just roughing up the edges really helps with the texture and dimension. And then I also use that same color of ink that I used to stamp to ink up the edges of those distressed labels. So I have done a few of the stamped ones, the stamping, and now I'm going to kind of fast forward through the video so that you don't watch me do all of them. It kind of looks like a hot mess when the labels are not adhered down on top of the stamps, but they'll come together. So I've backed the photos with some pink cardstock and a really thin border. And now I'm going to start sticking down all of the labels. So I'm just using my tape gun to adhere down the labels with a couple of tape strips, and I'm sticking them atop their corresponding stamped images. And there we have it. You can see I've run some off the page. I want them to look nice and organic as I've laid them around the page. So I'll just trim those off, and some of them I'll reuse on the opposite side of the layout. So I'm going to stick down these two. One of the photos printed wonky. I was running out of ink on my printer, but I thought, you know what, it's kind of cute to have it in a different color. It was kind of pastel looking, so I just kind of used it to peek out from the better colored photo. Just like a little technique that I use sometimes to double up the photos. So I decided to move the other half of that blue label over to the left side to add a pop of blue in that empty space. I think that stamp set by Catherine Pooler is called Wings of Flutter. But again, I think it's from a couple of seasons back, so I'm not sure if it's still in the store. If it is, I'll link it down below in my description. So I'm just finishing up trimming off the labels that are hanging off and roughing up and inking up the edges of those to correspond with the rest of the labels on the page. And I love Paige's collection is always so fun and colorful. So I love how much color there is. So think about reusing that, but no, I need like a full size label. I'm just going to run the top of it off just so it's not too matchy-matchy. I don't want things to show up as in rows or anything. When I want the labels to kind of be stacked really organically around the page. I knew immediately when I saw this paper that I was like, I want to fussy cut that. I want to separate those labels and do something fun with them. And there's still plenty left that I can do a whole other page without, with plenty of labels. So that's super fun too. So I'm going to trim off that excess there and rough it up and ink it up to match the others. So lovely. And I left that big spot obviously for the cut file there. And like I said, I just did a Google image search for that, and a lot of free clip art and images come up. So before I lay it down, oh, I'm adding another label too. Before I lay down the cut file, I decide that I want to back the glasses and I want them to stand out nicely. So I'm going to go grab some glitter cardstock to back the word hip hop, which is basically the title of the page. So there is the glitter paper, and there's all different super bright colors that actually all really match this collection, but I decided to go with the turquoise color there. So I'm going to cut it out and stick it down behind the cut file and then trim it up. And then I'm going to kind of doctor the ear where it didn't fully cut it out. I'm going to just go around the rest of the paper that was left on my Cricut mat, and that way I can follow the exact line of the ear and just cut a little sliver of paper and match it up with where it stopped properly cutting, and it'll be like you never knew, like it never even happened. Serve Pro that. So let's see what we have here. So yeah, I'm going ahead and sticking that down, all the bits that are cut out well. And then I've added a little sliver of paper to the other ear, and I'm going to just reattach it, and you'll never know. But there is a little bit that I kind of missed on fixing, but I have a fix for it. So I add the little nose and the whiskers. And then I knew I had a hat icon die cut, and so I went into an old Simple Stories collection and I pulled out a little hat die cut ephemera, and that's what I'm going to put on the empty space on the rabbit's head. And it's twofold. It like contributes to the hip hop theme of the rabbit, but it also hides that little snafu from the Cricut messing up. So I also have the floral ephemera from the Paige Evans Bloom in Wild collection. So I'm just kind of going through and picking out some smaller pieces that correspond with the colors of the labels and kind of matching them up. I'll tuck some of the leaves and flowers underneath the labels, and some of them I'll lay on top. I also have a small word Easter set, and there are a bunch of funny little egg puns. So now I'm going to ink up. Oh, I was editing the hat. So the hat, it said something weird. So I just covered it up with a very small stamp. It says smile, but it's just one that I had that was small enough to fit in that space. But for the egg puns, I'm going to stamp them in their corresponding colors onto some of the labels. Not all. I think I do it in 3 or 4 different places, and that's just like a little something extra to add to the Easter theme of the page, of the spring page. And then as well as just, I like it. I like to be punny. Everyone knows I appreciate a good pun. So that was just a little something. So the page is pretty busy with all the stamping and the different color labels. So I actually don't add any gems or sequins or anything with that today. You could totally do that. But I think it had plenty going on, so I didn't think it needed anything added. So make sure to hop around down below to the design team hop list. So much talent and fun, inspiration, and comment on all of them for a chance to win store credit. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, y'all.